Hey there, this is Nina Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Thank you so much for being here. This show is created to discuss life topics to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. And as you know, I try to go around the world and get the best people I can find on the planet that love to transform people's thinkings with what they've been through and what they are doing. So today I have Robert Raymond, and I know I'm going to mess this up. Ropel?
Oh, you're
Real
overthinking it,
Pal?
Nina. There you
Real
go.
pal? Real pal? All right.
Yeah.
I thought I was overthinking it. Is an international best-selling author. He's an app designer, an entrepreneur, and a trainer. And Robert draws on his journey from humble beginnings to financial freedom at the age of 32 to inspire individuals into tapping into their greatness. And as you guys know, I love to have people come on here just to talk about, where you are right now doesn't have to be where you need to be later, tomorrow, whatever, right? We have to try to grow and challenge our thinking. So, Robert, thank you so much for being here with us today. How are you doing?
Oh, Nina, I am feeling blessed, loving, being here. I love that intro video because you tapped on like my favorite word in the whole world, which is passion. And so
Mm,
seeing that in your intro video, I'm like, I know we're going to have some fun
yeah,
today.
we're going to have some fun. All right, Robert, let's start the fun. Let my audience know a little bit more about you.
Well, you said a lot in the intro, but I want people to understand I'm just like everybody else. I'm no different. I am a little more aerodynamic than a lot of people, but for me, I am a person that just has a crazy sense of humor. I believe there's way too many serious people on the planet. So I live my life trying to help people have an even more amazing life and understand just how amazing they are. And the reason I want people to understand that I'm no different than them is because I believe we're all the same.
Right.
Is it possible I have information and knowledge some people don't have? Absolutely. But on the same side, it's also possible that, like all your listeners, they have information and knowledge I don't have.
Right.
So I'm also a lifetime student. I love to learn, I love to absorb, and I just love to assist people however I can.
Right. I think that's the best way anyway, right? Because the minute you think you know it all, then
Oh, you're
what's the
done.
point, right? What's the point? I mean, you think you know, and I thought I knew it all in my 20s, right? And then 30s kicked my
Oh,
butt. And then 40s were like, yeah, you know nothing, girlfriend. You know
yep,
nothing,
yep, yep.
which is great, right? Because you constantly are like having that desire to want to keep growing, which I
Oh, yeah.
absolutely love. Absolutely love. So tell me about, I read a little bit in your beginning, but tell me about your journey. So what was your humble beginnings? How, what were you, who was Robert before?
Well, world class people pleaser. Let's start with that.
Mm,
Youngest of four children. To get my share of attention, I thought I had to please everybody. I had to, and I tried to be different people just to please them. And boy, what a journey and struggle and frustration that was.
yeah.
Because then, I'd be trying to please this person, and I'd want to go talk to someone else, and I'd have to try and be someone else to remember who they wanted me to be. And so I grew up in a family where we struggled. We moved around a lot just for my parents to take care of us. And the work ethic they instilled in us is that you do whatever you need to do to take care of your family, whether you like the work or not. If it's secure and pays you, then you do it. And so that's kind of
Mhm.
how I grew up. But at the age of 21, I'm being laid off from my third company that I'd worked for. And I started to kind of get a complex. I'm like, is it me that every company that hires me, they end up closing down? Uh-oh.
Right.
And I'm still a newlywed at that time when I'm laid off from this third company. And here in Alberta, we were in the middle of an oil bust, so economy wasn't doing well. And I decided I had to do something till I found a real job. I started delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza.
Mm,
Because of my work ethic, I ended up becoming a manager. My wife then became my assistant manager, and we did what we were taught to do. We started working hard, open to close 7 days a week, because that's what we knew to do. And a
right.
year and a half later, all of a sudden the fear came back in when my franchisee announced, he said, I'm getting out of Domino's Pizza. I'm selling the two stores. And my wife and I had been around and watched enough stores around us get sold that we knew the managers were let go immediately because the new owners wanted to come in and change things. And so my mindset went, oh crap, here we go again. But now it's going to be both of our incomes gone.
Right.
And my answer was, we need to start calling other franchisees and find out what other store we can manage. And my wife's looking at me and she's like, why would we do that? We're qualified to be franchisees. Why don't we just buy the store we're in? And I looked at her. I'm like, because we don't have any money. That's
Right.
why we're not going to buy the store.
I like her way of thinking, though. I
Well,
love that.
yeah. See, I was taught to think inside the box.
Right.
Don't question the box. The box is not even there. Just, do what you're told. But my wife, who's the youngest of 5 children raised by a single mother, she was raised with what box?
Right.
Figure it
Right.
out. And because of that passion, we started learning, how do you buy a business if you have no money? And I'll tell you, Nina, and I want your listeners to hear this. We made a lot of mistakes
Mm-hmm.
learning what to say, what not to say. But one of the keys is we actually, every time we'd make a mistake, we created it as a learning curve and we learned what to say, what not to say. Okay, that didn't work. So don't say it that way. Don't try and tell someone who wants to loan you money that you're buying the business. Tell them you're buying assets and you're going to start your own company. Because, if you buy the business, you're buying all the possible headaches and, legal actions or debt that's coming with it. So we started learning. And after about 4 months of making a ton of mistakes, we ended up knowing what to say. And we were able to get 100% financing, not just for the store we were working in, but actually for both the stores my franchisee had for sale. And we did it
Wow.
with 100% financing and became franchisees. And
Wow.
it was like, oh,
Right.
But I will tell you, and you probably understand this like your listeners, there's a big difference between knowing how to run a Domino's pizza and how
Mm.
to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
See, we knew how to
I was going to
run a
ask you
store.
that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We're 23 years of age, and all of a sudden, first 2 years, we, out of sheer tenacity, we made it work because we went through a steep learning curve of how do you run a business. Because now we weren't just managing the store; we had to manage 2 stores. We had to run all the advertising, everything, and we struggled getting through it, but we learned a lot. And after 2 years, we kind of got it figured out. We started doing well. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, because we're franchisees and we start making money, we got to keep up with the Joneses.
Right. Right.
And we ended up, by the time we were franchisees for 8 years, because of our spending habits, we ended up over $150,000 in personal debt and
Right.
going down quickly. And that's actually when we were introduced to personal development, and it changed our life. We walked into a 3-day training, financially struggling, stressed out beyond belief, and not sure what we're going to do. 3 days later, we walked out with the understanding of why we were in debt. Where did our condition come from? Why were we doing it? More importantly, we learned to take responsibility for our debt. Quit. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
good at blaming others.
Mm-hmm.
They lost my investment or because of them. And it's like, no, we're the ones that made the decision. So I took responsibility. And then we had some tools where when we left that training, we implemented the tools. And by implementing and changing our way of being and way of thinking around money, we end up going from that $150,000 in debt to actually being retired completely financially free 9 months later at the age of
Wow.
32.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big fast change, right? I think you said a couple of things there though, like one, you found out why you were in debt.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like personal development too. So when you say that, are you talking about because of the mindset or the habits that you grew up with or your patterns? What do you mean by
Both.
that? Okay.
Yeah. See, when you're growing up, what people don't realize is the decisions you're making today, even
Mm-hmm.
today at where I won't say I'm 52 years old, I've hit level 52 in the game of life, which means
Right.
I'm advancing.
That is
And
so good. I'm
right.
gonna steal
And
that.
a friend told me that when I turned, he says, "Look, you just hit level 50." And because of course, the higher level you get in games, the better you are. And I'm like,
Oh,
I
I
like,
like
and
it.
it
I
ties into
like
what
it.
you said earlier, Nina, between the 20s, the 30s to 40s. Yeah. Now that I'm in my 50s is even anchoring in more. I want to
Right.
keep learning because I definitely know nothing. But
Right.
every decision we're making today, it comes from when we were a child up to around the age of 5 or 6. Everything we heard, everything we experienced, everything that we were told, and we saw now is ingrained in us, and we're making our decisions based on that. So growing up as a kid, my parents financially struggling, anytime times were tough, we made it work, which I ended up doing as well. But
Right.
anytime extra money came in, we spent the money. And I remember back in 1978, my dad got a $2,000 tax return, and that was unheard of money in our family. And instead of using it to save and maybe grow, instantly all 6 of us in the family got new bicycles. My dad bought a used vehicle for him and my mom, and a china cabinet for my mom. And all of a sudden, all the money was gone again, and we were back to struggling. So
Right.
that was what I automatically took into my life is anytime extra money came in, oh, we got to spend it now. And we had all the toys. It was all about it wasn't what we needed, it's what did we want, whether we
Right.
needed it or not. And that's what got
Right.
us into financial trouble.
Well, I mean, you guys were young too, right? I think it's also experience, development, all of that has a lot to do with it because you were 23 when you first bought them,
Yep.
the franchises, right? So you were fairly young. I mean, it's a young age to own a franchise and a business, right? So I
Well,
think
yeah.
yeah, you're going to make a lot of silly mistakes. And that's, a lot of pain in life causes a lot of great reward later, doesn't it?
Well, and that's it. It was all about that instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the question sometimes people say, well, Robert, if you could go back to your 18, 19-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? And I struggled with that for a while. And finally I realized I wouldn't say to do anything different. I'd say just do what you're doing because who I am today comes from all the good and the hard times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
why would I want to change that? Because it would make me a different person with where I'm
Mm-hmm.
at today. So yeah, that's exactly the way I look at it is I wouldn't want to change anything. Everything's been perfect for me to go through.
Right. I agree with that. And I love that you were talking about, how because I had the same thing. Like every time we had extra money, we would spend it. Same exact thing. Because my mother was the same way. As soon as that money came in, it was out the door, right? And it
Yep,
realizes like your mental capacity almost doesn't let you have the extra. It almost
exactly.
pushes back on you like, wait a minute, this is unfamiliar. You're not supposed to have, we've already developed a habit for 40 years. What are you doing? You
Yep,
know? So
yep.
it's a really difficult thing to do. I love that you and your wife did not just go to this personal development, but you actually put it into play, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's because the unfortunate statistic in North America is only 3% of people
3%.
will actually use the information that they've been given or that they've learned, and
Yep.
and I think the only reason we probably did, and I'm because I want to be totally clear, it's not like I'm a superhuman person that everything goes great. Is I think the only reason hindsight being 2020 that we put into action is because we were so stressed out, we had to change.
Right.
Like I've never experienced stress like financial stress before. What it
Right.
was doing to our health, our bodies, our mindsets, our relationship, everything. And it was like something needs to change. And I believe that's the reason we decided to take the action. And thank goodness we did.
Yeah. And is that the your same wife that you have now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So do you believe I'm sorry, go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm blessed that way. We met when we were 13, started
Wow.
dating when we were 16, got married when we were 19, and we just celebrated our 32nd wedding anniversary
Oh,
this
how
past
cool
June.
is that? And you're still smiling. That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Well, I have no problem admitting I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for her. Because one of the main gifts she gives me is she's not willing to let me play smaller than I am. And so I
Mm,
tell everybody, surround yourself with those people in your life, not that are like-minded, because like-minded, if you're
I
surrounded by
agree.
people that are complainers, you're going to be a complainer. Surround yourself with growth-minded people.
Mhm.
Those are the people that will be there to lift you up when you stumble. They'll be the ones to cheer you on when you're doing well, but more importantly, they're the ones that are willing to have the tough conversations when you need it. And so as an example, my wife, if it was left to me, I'd probably still be in a job, miserable but comfortable, because that
Right.
was my programming. And she's like, no, you've got a gift to give the world. Quit playing small. And sometimes she's kicking me in the ass. And of course, I'm so appreciative of it in the time.
Oh, yeah, of course. Perfect husband that you are.
Yeah. And that's, Nina, that's where I realized for all you in relationships, men, listen close. The two most important words in a relationship, yes, dear.
Yes, dear. My husband says the same thing. Very smart man you are, Robert. Very smart man. So do you think, and this is do you think that going to that personal development class or course, do you think that helped the marriage too, like helped you guys move forward? Because you said something before where you said financial, I never known stress like financial stress,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So and I know that that is a huge factor in divorces, you
Yes.
know? So do you think that would have that played a part in helping you guys develop even more and move forward?
No, not at all. It absolutely did. Because of that, when we realized, and when I shared that we went to the financial freedom, you said a word that went in our head as well, which was wow. And our minds went, if this much information gave us that result, what would
Mm.
more learning do? And that's when we became avid students. And because we decided to dive in and learn from as many masters as we could, we ended up doing another training where we learned about the masculine and the feminine in each and every one of us. And by the time we did this training, we'd been married for 13 years at that point, and we had a good relationship, a good marriage. But
Mhm,
all of a
mhm.
sudden, that deep understanding that we got in the fact that everybody has masculine and feminine in them, and it's the dance, the divine dance that you do between. And we realized that, my wife, as an example, because she was raised by a single mother, and her mother taught her, don't rely on anybody, especially a man. All of a sudden, she was always in her masculine, even though her core is feminine. And in a
Mhm.
relationship, when one person's in one, the other person's automatically in the other. So it was automatically forcing me into my feminine. And so and my core is masculine. And so we had good relationship, but there was always something we just couldn't put our fingers
Tension.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the
yeah.
moment I learned how to gift my wife by me going into my masculine and gifting her back into her feminine, all of a sudden that took our relationship and our marriage to a whole new level. And so we wouldn't have even discovered that had we not started personal development in the
Right.
beginning.
Right. So tell me, Robert, how do you take all of that you've learned and all of your experiences, to do what it is you do now? I'm assuming right now I think I read it. You are an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
what is it that you do now?
Well, I mainly trainings because it helped me and my whole when I realized my passion was to teach others. And it started like this, Nina. It started, and again, something I want your audience to hear is it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to help hundreds of thousands of people. Oh, no, it was
Right.
if I could help one person,
Yeah.
just one person do what my wife and I had been able to do, go from financial stress to financial freedom and make it all worthwhile. And that's what started me on my journey. And so for the last 19 years, I've been blessed to travel around the world several times, personally train over 500,000 students. And the main thing I teach them is the mindset of how to create financial freedom in their life
Oh, that's
because of
great.
how it worked in but I'm also, I am a serial entrepreneur. So when I wrote my first book, I decided to design an app based on my book. I love having passive incomes like real estate and stuff. So I have a lot of different things that I do that allow me to do my main passion of training and having fun and impacting lives.
That's amazing. So do you have the name of your training, or is it just your name, or what's the name of the
Well,
training?
yeah, the one I'm working on right now, because since the pandemic, is I'm writing my new book, and it's called The Authority Key, and that's
Mm,
my main training that I'm doing right now, where I'm teaching people not only how to be an authority in, say, business, in a business or in a job, because Nina, have you ever noticed there can be someone that has the same knowledge and experience as you or less, but yet they make more money? Have you ever
yeah.
noticed that?
A lot.
Yeah, and
A
and it's
lot.
usually is how they're perceived, and if they're perceived as the authority,
Mm, mm.
they get paid more. So the training in the book teaches how kind of the practical skills on how to position yourself as an authority, but more importantly, it teaches you how to be the person who can handle it, the person who's able to utilize it. Because just like money, it's one thing to make money, and it's a totally different thing to be able to hang on to that money.
That's
And
true.
so when I teach things like the four currencies of life, the four phases of life, that's all in my new training in my new book that's coming up. And so, like, one of the things in the four phases is chaos. Most people, when chaos enters their life, what do? They resist it. But if you
Mhm.
realize chaos is natural, and if you actually embrace it and courageously learn how to invite chaos into your life, it allows you to actually have a more flowing life and actually have more greatness because we're meant to evolve. And that's what chaos helps us do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm teaching now. And yeah, it's easiest way to find me is just my name, robertriopel.com. Because, as one of the things I love to do, my first book, Success Left a Clue, is an international best-selling book because you were gracious to have me on as a guest on your podcast. As a gift from you and I to your listeners, just for listening, if they go to robertriopel.com, they're actually able to download the entire digital copy as our gift to them,
Oh, that's wonderful.
for listening. But I will say
That's
it comes with
great.
a caveat, though, Nina. Comes
Yeah.
with a caveat.
What's that?
Because in that book, I cover 6 steps to create your life. And step number 3 is action. And because most people don't take action, we talked about that,
Yep.
3%. I wrote it as a workbook. I didn't write it to read and put on the shelf and make it shelf help. That's not why I wrote the book.
Shelf help. I like
Oh,
that.
good. You got it. Good. You got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I do is I have action steps throughout the book where I'll actually say, did you do the last action? If not, stop reading right now, go back, do the action before you continue
That's
reading.
good.
Because I know people are creatures of habit. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm so excited that people now can get the digital copy as our gift. Because if I promise you, if you don't just read the book, but you actually do the action steps, you'll take your life to another level.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I love that guarantee, right? I think because people think this is way more difficult than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, Robert, I don't know if you feel this way, but what's happening, I feel, is the over information.
Mm-hmm.
We are like so consumed with so much information, but yet we're starving for wisdom, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're out there on social media now and everything, now that you're doing all this like virtual stuff and Zoom stuff. Do you feel that way too? Like there's way too many armchair experts?
There is. I'm very big on being very diligent on who I choose to be a coach in my life, who I choose to be have as
Mm-hmm.
a mentor in my life. They have to be in alignment with me, and
Me
they
too.
have to be at a higher level than I am, so that I can grow to that level. But whereas most people, like, I love that you said armchair experts, because most people, they go, oh, their advertising's good, they must be good, and yet they get nothing from it. And I have no problem with someone starting off, because one of the things I say is just get started. But the biggest thing for me is you have to be authentic with where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're just new, you say, here's where I'm at. And because of that, I'm going to give a great deal for my first few clients, as long as provide me with a testimonial so I can help more people. And if you're honest with where you're at, then the right people are still going to show up, which is going to allow you to grow and become more of an expert, more of an authority. So yes, get started, but don't try to dazzle people and with your brilliance if you're just getting, at the beginning. You have to really be authentic about where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah. And the truth is even when you're in the beginning, you could still help someone. So I don't want people to
Absolutely.
feel like they have to be like discouraged, right? I'm in the beginning, I can't. Yes, you can, because not everybody's in the beginning, right?
That's
Some
right.
people haven't even started the journey. So even
Yeah.
if, I mean, I always like, I always think of this story, and I can't remember where it was, but this young man who taught a class, I think it was in psychology or something, and he was teaching, acting like he was a teacher. He was impersonating a professor in college, and he was teaching this course, and they finally caught him. I think it was like a few months later or something. And they're like, how did you do that? Your students did well. They all had good grades, all of that, but you're not even a professor. He said, oh, I was only one chapter ahead.
Yes.
So, and I'm like, I mean, that story always sticks with me, because I'm like, all we have to do, Robert, is affect that one person if we're one
Yes.
chapter ahead,
Yes.
right?
And that's why, like, three keys that I tell people is learn something,
Yep.
then do it, then teach it. Because when you learn something, you get it at one level. The moment you do it, it goes on a deeper level to ingrain.
Mm-hmm.
But then the
Mm-hmm.
moment you teach it, it even ingrains deeper. And so it's learn, do, and then teach. And then once you teach, what do you do? Learn again. So it's
Right.
learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach. And if you use that as a cycle and as a mantra, absolutely. And it's like golfing. Let's say you've taken your game from 120 strokes down to 100. You're not going to teach someone who's doing 80 how to golf. But how many people would love to go from 120 to 100? And
Right.
by teaching them how to do that, you're going to go from 90, 100 down to maybe 90. Your game's going to improve. So now then you can say, hey, by the way, now that we got you to 100, if you'd like to go to 90, keep following me because I'm
Right.
now doing better. That's the authenticity, right? Be on that journey, get started, but keep learning. Just don't try to bluff your way through it. Plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, that is so good. Oh, that's so good, because I've been speaking to a couple of my clients who are kind of disappointed because they've joined programs, and then they're like, I learned nothing. I got nothing out of it. And it's so disappointing, right? Because you're like, that's not, now you're paying for my program. So now, and I feel bad about that, like I
Yes.
feel bad that you have to keep doing that because somebody else deliver to you what they promised, So I say also do your diligence, do your due diligence.
Yes.
It's not just about the great, advertising, because some people have amazing advertising, amazing, right? And like they have the money to do it, right? So they have that, but sometimes the best kept secret is usually the best, the best sometimes.
Absolutely.
So,
That's exactly
but
it.
yeah, and I love what you said, because you're making people have action towards what they're learning. And one of the things when I was starting in my personal development journey is I was learning. I mean, I was just learning,
Oh,
and
I
not
know more where this
applying jack.
goes.
I wasn't applying jack,
Yeah.
because I was trying to consume the information first, so then I can do action, which is a really silly way to go about it,
Yep.
because I was full of knowledge, but honestly, I was starving for wisdom, and I
Yep.
believe that it was because what you said, it wasn't ingrained yet. It was just words going into the brain and out, you know?
Yep.
So that is powerful, Robert, powerful. So really quickly, before I let you go, let us know, your book, you said you already have one.
Yep.
So tell us about when the second one might be coming out, if you have a date. I don't know if you do or don't. And like any of your social media handles, your program, because I'm assuming that what you train, you train individuals in courses as well, or do you have to be through a corporation or company or something like that?
Oh, no, actually, I'm glad you asked that because, I have never taught corporations in all my
Oh,
20
okay.
plus years. My students range from like 7 years old to 93, I think has been my oldest student. All walks of life, all different careers. I love working with individuals because
Oh,
I
okay.
love to help them tap in and find what their passion is. And then once they know what their passion is, learning how to make money doing what they love. So they wake up in the morning going, yeah, I can't wait
Right.
for the day instead of going, oh, I don't want to go to work today.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, so my first book, like I said, Success Left a Clue, Six
Okay.
Life-Changing Habits. This is the one that, again, the digital download, please just robertriopel.com. You'll love it.
Okay.
And you know
Okay.
what's interesting about this is that this book is a very easy read. I could have, and I love that you brought this up when you're talking about the overload. I could have made this 1,000 pages long, had all the neuroscience behind it, all the quantum physics behind it, of everything. But I purposely, because I knew people would read 3 or 4 pages and then they'd close it and be overwhelmed and not read any further. So I kept it very, very simple. And one of the things I'm going to tell you, do not let the simplicity fool you. The 6 steps, your mind's going to go, it can't be that simple.
Mm.
Success is not easy. You've got to put the work in, but it is simple. If you
Mm-hmm.
follow the steps of something that's been done, that's been proven, you'll get the same results if you put the work in. So don't let the simplicity of this fool you. I am definitely on Facebook. I have a fan page. Just put my name in, Robert Riopel.
Okay.
My assistant tells me I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram.
My,
you know,
my assistant tells me.
oh my, I know I got it. Nina, I'm always learning. And it took me until last year to finally get a virtual assistant.
Right.
And the moment I did, all of a sudden my social
Lifesavers.
media got so much better. And I'm like,
Right.
wow.
Right. Right.
And for her, she's just like, she loves doing it and it's so easy. And I was
Right.
struggling with it. And I'm just like, why didn't I do this years ago?
I
Because
know.
I'm still learning. I'm like I said, I'm like everybody else. I'm good at what I'm good at. I'm not good at what I'm not good at. And I've got to, I realize that. And as I allow others to assist me where I'm not strong at something, my life just becomes so much easier.
So much easier. It's so much easier. I agree. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, social media. Hey, can you do this? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have, not even that, just the time that it takes, right?
Oh,
So yeah.
like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do a 10-minute work huddle. And she's like, here's the calendar for all the social media for the month. You just have to quickly look. And if you like what I've put together, approve them. If you need changes, make changes. And when I go on, I'm like, that's brilliant. That's amazing. I said
Right.
that. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Right.
She's making me
Right.
look good.
She make you look good. Right. There you go. There you go. But at least you have the years of experience behind you. You're not that armchair expert. So that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes, yeah. So my
Robert,
new book
yeah, go
is going
ahead.
to be first or second quarter of 2022 is when the
Oh, okay,
new
good.
book will come out. Yeah.
Good. And what's the title of that one?
The Authority Key: How to
The
Unlock
Authority
and
Key.
Open the Doors to Your Success.
Look at that. Look at you. Writing and writing. That's amazing. No, thank you, Robert. Really, you are so much fun. And I love your energy and I love the wisdom that you have. I love your humor. I think that you must be so much fun to work with because I'm the same. I love humor. I love comedy. I love all of that. It makes my heart, smile. And so this was a very great conversation. So thank you for
Ah,
spending this time on Straight Talk. I appreciate you.
my pleasure.
Thank you. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you like, share, and make sure that you follow Robert Riopel because I'm like trying to make his name all fancy with the little asterisks and all that stuff. So it's just Riopel. So please make sure that you go ahead and follow him. Go onto his website, go onto his social media, on his fan page, and find out when his new book is coming out. Also, check out the website because you'll have the link to the digital copy of the book that he currently has. And so I don't want you to miss on any of this amazing conversation that can truly set you free financially. So, guys, thank you guys for being here. This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.
This broadcast is brought to you by Wincheck Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.